Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch TV. We would like to welcome you once again to our Outbreak Undead offering of Rag and Bone. This is a dark story that we play every week right here. We'll be exploring some very dangerous roads, and we hope that you will walk alongside us. The terrors that we will be undertaking are not taken lightly. We have content warnings that are available to all of you, and we certainly hope that you pay close attention to them. Our intention is not to drive you away, but rather to entice you onto this journey as we make it together. We have gathered here a number of exceptional role players, all of whom have come to the table with an understanding that we have forged. I have spoken to each of them, and we have granted each other our consent and made clear what our lines are regarding safety and the protocols in which we will be walking this road together. It is with great thanks that we say that we could not do this without the help of Alex Hillman, who has been helping us with the technical direction. And despite a few minor issues, we are back with you now. We will be proceeding with our story as intended, and while there may be some further small bumps and bruises, we guarantee that the effort will well be worth it. We hope that you enjoy the story along the way. Additionally, we have partnered with Foreteller and created our Scry application. The Scry application is available to you right now, down below in the panels on your Twitch screen. It is an interactive method for you to be able to assign resources to the various survivor communities that are within the game of Rag and Bone. It is the decisions that you make that will allow us to move forward with an understanding of how the world is treating the individuals that are currently fighting for every piece of survival technology available to them. Some things may seem innocuous or unimportant, but I promise they are crucial. Every choice that you make will affect the game, and we encourage you to become involved with it. Each of the players is with us tonight, and I would like to introduce them to you. Markia, would you please tell everyone a little bit about yourself and the character that you'll be playing tonight?
Absolutely. I am a producer and host with Hunters Entertainment. You can also find me on Something Scary or Shadow Diaries, which are podcasts. As for the character that I'm playing tonight, is Achira Sampson, who in a previous episode managed to headshot not only a very dangerous Romero walking zombie in this world, but also Blockbuster, a character that was played by a very, very awesome individual, but unfortunately died and then came back alive and had to be put down again. So at this point, I'm in a bunker with a bunch of different other characters, and let's just say that Achira's objectives are her own.
Thank you for being with us again. We are excited to see where you take your character and what happens tonight. Michelle, would you please tell everyone a little bit about yourself and the character that you will be playing?
Hi, I'm Michelle Bradley. I'll be playing Juniper Song tonight, and Juniper has so far strayed away from the group, saved a pair of twins from the farmhouse, got lost in the mines, been attacked by two previously player characters, now NPC Romeros, and has found her way to the the bunker where everyone else is just last episode. So that's all very injured, missing my arrows, missing my sanity. I kind of hate the kids, but I'm also trying to save them. But they're more like my siblings at this point than I am their like mother or father. You can find me every week here on Tuesdays and on Wednesdays over at Official Paizo doing their Pathfinder Beginner Box series, and also on the YouTube channel Total Nerd doing deep dives into video games and fun little competition shows. It's a good time.
We're very excited that you're with us again, Michelle. Thank you for being here. Alquin, you have returned to us for a third week, and we are honored by your appearance. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself and the character that you will be playing?
Hi, I'm Alquin Gersh, Different Elves on Twitch and Twitter. I'm currently developing a supplement for Outbreak Undead called Danse Macabre, which has a Black Plague setting. It's this alternate history horror. You can also see me on D&D's Twitch channel on A Darkened Wish, DM'd by B. Dave Walters, along with Mei Lee, who's usually on this show as well. I'm playing Kusanagi, who is a rag and bone tape trader and considers himself an archivist of the pre-1995 world, particularly with a passion for Japanese animation. And I think that he is trying his best to make himself useful to the rest of this group, so that if bad stuff comes along, he's got a buffer, and people are motivated to try to protect him.
We appreciate you being with us. Thank you again. Last but not least, we do have Cynthia with us. Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us again. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and the character that you'll be playing?
Of course, thanks for having me. Hi, my name is Cynthia Marie. I am on Twitter at CynthDancer or Instagram Cynthia__Marie. I do a bunch of different guest roles on different shows, but you're most notably known for Nellie G on LA by Night from World of Darkness, playing Vampire the Masquerade. I'm also a podcast host. You check out the podcast Life Action Roleplay, where we talk about role-playing elements or just having a good time on there. So twitch.tv/Life Action Roleplay, or you can listen to us on any podcast platform. But tonight I am playing Aria Cantos. She is a child actress, all grown up at this point. But from the last game, she was introduced and ran into Juniper coming down the mine shaft. Took a good shot at what we now know as Blockbuster, and took a wheel to the chest, and now may or may not have some broken ribs. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm really excited to be here. So thank you.
We're excited to have you here. Thank you. Every week we ask you, as our audience, to join us and to help the individuals that are gathered here. We ask this simply by encouraging you to follow and to encourage others to join us here at the stream. Each week, if we reach 100 followers or 15 subscriptions, we will grant all players an additional competency point. If you're not familiar with the mechanics of Outbreak Undead, competency points are a very important resource that are used to help to sway the luck of the dice, to move the mechanical components of this game a little closer to the narrative choices that the individuals wish to make. They would provide additional successes and hopefully bring about much better outcomes than those that would occur without such resources. I am sad to say that this previous week that we were unable to reach our goals, and all of the players here will only receive 3 competency points during this encounter. I encourage all of them to use them very sparingly. The location that you're currently within may have additional situations that will aid you in your journey forward, but you shouldn't count on anything. Everything present is wrought with danger. There are no outcomes that will provide you with a happy ending. As I've said many times before, there are no magic castles, no weapons of great legend that will help you to defeat the imaginary dragon that barks at your door. The dangers in this world are very real, and they echo our own. We'll be right back. We do encourage you to pay The world ended on Monday, August 29th, 1995. The sky fell and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed and the sickness spread like lightning even to the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the summer flu. It became something far, far worse. H1N1, commonly called the Legacy or the Widow's Kiss, was deadly, and it seemed to become even more infectious once the individual who carried it passed away. At first, it seemed as though no one was immune to the airborne strain, but eventually it was revealed that 0.01% of the entire population of the world had a natural immunity. Those lucky souls, however, couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of that virus through either a bite from the living dead or a scratch or blood-on-blood contact. The end of days were like a wildfire that could not be tamped out. They burned through the entire world, leaving very little behind. People sought refuge and security where there was none to be had. Entire cities burned, but miraculously some still survived. And for the next 25 years, life has struggled forward, limping painfully towards an unknown solution, one that no one has been able to see clearly quite yet. Would humanity disappear? Was this an extinction event that would leave the Earth devoid of sentient life? The world is now fractured, but some still seek to make civilization anew. The Ender's Line uses old railway tracks to connect the small scattered outposts and settlement across all of the Midwestern United States and beyond. The rag and bone are a lifeline to the world that now belongs fully to the dead. It is beneath the Gray Ridge community, a small farming house that was built upon a small ridge surrounded by rocky outcroppings at the base foothill of a large, craggy mountain. Within this mountain are inset mine shafts that predate the fall of the world. The Gray Ridge farmhouse, having stood there for centuries, now burns. The walls have fallen. The living dead in this region, known as Romeros, have arrived in hordes that have never quite been seen by the individuals that are present. An unimaginable sea of the dead that urge themselves mindlessly forward, a force of nature that destroys everything within its path. When the walls fell, the survivors sought to do what they could to try to find some sort of security and defense, hoping that perhaps this farmhouse would hold some amount of security. Juniper, I'm sorry to say you were present when it began to burn. You were able to pull away the two twins that were held within, young children that, like yourself, were born in a world without civilization, born in a world after everything ended. To you and this couple of small children, you see a reflection of your own past, an opportunity to perhaps make amends for choices that you have made. At great cost to yourself, you have struggled forward. You have managed to usher them into safety and security, but it has not been easy. Many have died along the way. You've killed. You've witnessed others who have been killed. Everything is called into question as you have found yourself now deep below ground in these mining shafts. Achira, you have ushered forward one of the most important resources that Grey Ridge has to offer. This small farming community has become notable to all of the region for their ability to synthesize penicillin and to make other life-saving medications. All of that is due to the intelligence and hard work of Dr. Maria Espinosa. You, Lampwick, and a few of the others have done everything you can to see that she has survived this ordeal. It has come at a very high price. Lampwick, horribly wounded and near death, has paid a very heavy price. You came into conflict with the doctor. For a short period of time, it seemed as though the two of you would not be able to resolve this tension. However, you have persevered. And along with the others, you have found yourself in this mine shaft, deep below to the last resort that Grey Ridge as a community had to offer. A safe house that had been built within it. Concrete walls and some minor amount of facilities that have been implemented and installed here in the event that the worst should happen, that the unthinkable would occur. Now, it is the last bastion of hope for you and the other survivors, but you are not alone. Kusanagi, you, as a tape trader, a merchant, and an archivist, have worked very hard to gather the last scraps of a civilization that many have completely forgotten or never knew. VHS tapes hold the greatest key to the continuation of an understanding of the history and lifestyle of a world that no longer exists. Every tape offers something, some fragment of great understanding and education and entertainment, which in these dark times, while a luxury, holds great value. And you have dedicated your life to gathering as much of this lost past as possible. You came here hoping to find a rival and colleague, a blockbuster, an individual who was renowned as the greatest of tape traders within this region, someone who, somewhere within this local region, held an archive of unspeakable depth and comprehension. A library that has been unseen for many, many years. He was a legend. And those who worked within your specific branch of Rag and Bone knew him well. And now, you were there when his head was removed from his body. When it was contorted and mutated in these horrible ways due to whatever strange permutation of that virus had infected him. If that is indeed what it was. Because you, like these others, have never seen anything quite like this before. The dead walk, that is a given. And that if not for the destruction of the brain, any who find themselves passing from this world can be assured of one thing. Your corpse will rise, and it will seek out the warm heartbeats and flesh of those who still live. Mindless, endlessly hungry, relentless. The dead, known as Romeros here, never stop. But this is not what you have seen in the past. Unthinkable strength, reason, and even the ability to speak to a certain extent. These are not the dead that you know. And your entire world is shifting because of it. If the dead can speak, if the dead can think, what does that mean for the rest of you and the survival of all of humanity, hanging as it is by a thin, fragile thread. Arya, you, like the others, have found yourself here, seeking out the resources that this Grey Ridge Farms possessed. The group that you were traveling with was clear on what was to be found. You knew what you were looking for, and you had some success. That was until you found Juniper here within this mine facility, deep beneath the earth. This small, strange, wild child bearing with her 2 small children. They were locked away in a storehouse here, a storehouse containing very valuable medicine, medications, painkillers, other things that would fetch a very high price, no matter where they were taken. All of you have finally found yourself in the same space, gathered together in this underground bunker with massive iron doors. Juniper, you and Arya have just entered, having been saved by Kusanagi and Achira. They are not the only survivors in this place, however. The dank, cold concrete walls have been very minimally furnished, and you are surrounded by a number of large, worn couches, old tables. There are cages on a number of walls that segment this space into various rooms. Those rooms each offer you some small amount of privacy, but the facilities here are far from modern. The restroom is little more than a series of buckets. There are large containers sealed and filled with water that is of a questionable nature, having sat down here for an unknown amount of time. There are shelves that are stocked with ancient cans, older than you, perhaps, June. But there are also military rations that have been freeze-dried, along with a number of other resources that have been packed away and gathered here. There are weapons. There are automatic rifles, pistols, ammunition, medical supplies. Everything that you would need for a short period of time. But the air here is stale, and while there does seem to be some amount of ventilation that has been built within this space, it feels confining, like a tomb. Lampwick is here, heavily sedated from the homemade painkillers that were discovered within this place. Dr. Espinosa has been interacting very closely with Achira and attending to Lampwick, though she is loath to do it, as Lampwick directly is the cause of the death of some of her oldest and closest friends. Rowan Karloff is also here, a member of the Citadel, a harsh woman who's willing to do whatever it takes to get the resources that her community needs. But she has proven herself to be very adept at martial combat. She also is in connection with those groups that are outside, able to help to perhaps rally and marshal an escape route when you do decide to leave this place. One of her companions is here as well. And those 2 twins that Juniper has brought into the space as well. It is dark. There are flickering lanterns. Kusanagi, you are holding in your arms an individual that you have pulled in from the encounter on the other side of that large iron door. Having been struck heavily in the ribs, Arya, you feel pain working its way across the side of your body, up against your neck, and all the way through your bottom jaw. It reverberates and causes you an immense amount of suffering. The shock is worn off. The appearance of that strange creature, that twisted thing, that abomination, those memories are so visceral, but the pain that you feel now brings you into this moment, and you look up at Kusanagi, who has just pulled you in from the outside. Juniper, you are also present, exhausted and wounded yourself. The two young children are looking desperately to you, and you see Achira. There are many individuals here that you do not know. And unfortunately, you were the only one who is aware of what has happened to Abigail. I would like each of you to take a moment and describe yourselves. We'll start with Juniper.
So, when the door was opened, I had kind of crawled in and was sort of barely answering anyone. I'm still on the ground, sort of just, I'm laying there. I am looking upwards now. My face isn't in the ground anymore. I think at this point I have already recognized Achira is there. I am bloody. I'm missing like all of my stuff. I have just like a handful of arrows like attached to my body, like under my belt. And I'm looking a pretty good mess. I want to call over to Achira when I recognize her. Do I see her from where I'm laying on the ground after I got shoved into the door?
You do. Achira, could you please describe yourself?
Chura has a trickle of blood coming from the back of her head from where she was bashed by the doctor when she was trying to save Lampwick instead of closing the mine shaft door. Like when the doctor clocked her with a 2x4. Dusty clothing, but still on the darker side with everything with like multiple pockets. She has a canteen that looks cleaner than the rest of her, on attached to her holster. Where she is, she has a long gun on her back, and I believe she's holding a pistol now. And if she's not, that's a-okay. But with that, she's also kind of eyeing everybody in the room, and then she hits Juniper and then also scans the room again and realizes that Abigail isn't there, but Juniper's looking at her, so she would approach Juniper.
Very well. Kusanagi, would you please describe yourself?
Kusanagi has long hair. His clothes look like they're about 25 years old, some of them, but they do look like they've been salvaged and traded for. He has sort of pins and other sort of crusted pieces of metal attached to them. He normally isn't seen without his VCR, which he carries with a shoulder strap, but that's over on a table nearby right now. We've been using it to watch some of Blockbuster's stash that he had on him. Right now, he looks kind of shaken by the events that have just happened, kind of frazzled and anxious. He's sort of looking down at Arya with a sort of confused recognition, and he's looking at the other people and trying to see what their reactions are. His eyes rest on the twins and on Juniper, and you can see what looks like concern that there are younger people here now who are in danger.
It is a very confusing situation. There is no doubt about it. Though it is 25 years later, she has aged remarkably well and still very much looks like the superstar that you recognized, Kusanagi. This is Candy Max. Aria, would you please describe yourself?
Sure. So she is a very, very young, 40-something looking years old, but probably closer more into 30s. You don't actually really know. Big curly hair, same bangs that she had from when she was younger. She's wearing a piece of jewelry that can be recognizable as part of the franchise, a piece of candy that it looks like, and she's wearing kind of a jean shirt that's kind of all like ripped up and probably bloodied by now from getting hit in the chest. Yeah, just looking very, very Latina, but very also beat up.
I leave it now to all of you. You had mentioned that there were some things that you wanted to do. Who would like to go first?
I can sort of crawl and interrupt as I usually do. I kind of flip over and sit up. Chiro, is that you? I can't really see super well in here.
Yeah, and no, I'm right here.
Is the old guy with you? Is Lampwick here?
And you see Achira do like a pause, and then she like glances towards the direction that Lampwick is resting, which is in the bunk room. And she goes, yeah, no.
He's still puking? Was that a whole thing that was still happening?
Yeah. He's in real rough shape.
Man, he really ate something bad.
Pretty bad. The doc tried to fix him up, but you know, he's just gonna have to rest and heal for a bit.
Okay, everything. I don't know what happened. I saw like the house blow up, and hey, we have two kids now. That's a whole thing. These
and you literally see Achira like look over at the kids, and then like her gaze like skips over them like they don't matter, and then like looks back at you.
Both children are on the floor, hugging their knees and rocking back and forth, hugging close to each other.
So we're gonna have to fix that at some point.
You? Is there? But where's Abigail? I mean, you didn't choose for Abigail.
She did not make it, but she kind of did, because she came back and almost killed me like twice.
Abigail's Romero?
Yeah. Well, maybe not anymore. I'm not like 100% sure what happened with that, but she was... I don't know. I think she got caught by something. Oh man! Oh, there's so much stuff I have to tell you. I'm just remembering. She was a Romero, but she could talk, and the old lady singing thing came back.
Romeros can't talk.
Okay, everyone keeps telling this to me, and I just telling you this is. Why would I lie about this? I don't know. There was.
Are you sure she wasn't just wounded and she was talking to you? Because we know that Romeros can't talk.
Nope, she was 100% dead, came back to life to chase me and try to kill me a couple of times, even after I ran away the first time, and then she was talking, and she took down there's like another guy down there for some reason. I don't even know who he was, and then a bunch of other guys came and were like, where's my friend? And I said, he's probably dead, I don't know. And then they went to get him, and then I'm pretty sure they're dead now. There was a third guy. Like, a lot of stuff happened, and it was really scary, but I was just trying to get these kids, I don't know, just out of there, and I don't know what I'm doing.
And you and if you notice, Achira doesn't even look at the kids again. She's just like looking straight at you, and she's pretty versed in Juniper talk. So, wait, what about the old woman singing?
Okay, remember when I was like, we should probably kill her at the very beginning of this adventure?
Right. Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised you didn't do it when she first appeared.
I was trying to, but I couldn't. It's a long story. I actually tried to again later when you weren't around. It's a long story. That kid she had with her, she turned him into a Romero. Like, he did not make it. And there's something going on with that lady, the singing, the Abigail turning into a thing that could talk. I feel like it's all connected. I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but also no one's believing me. And that didn't work out really well for that group of guys who got killed because they didn't believe me. I don't know. There's something weird going on here. And by the way, where the hell are we? What the fuck is this? Who are these people?
Yeah, that's also another long story, something to explain. With all of them here, don't trust them. Wait, is this is like Juniper and Achira having like a moment off to the side, right?
I'm laying by the door, I guess, so sure. I don't know.
I will tell you that where the two of you are standing is in the corridor that leads into the main space. Others are congregated in other areas, but this is not a very large room. It's perhaps 100 feet in total. And while there are walls that have been erected here, all of them are made from chain link fence and posts. And between the chain link fence, blue tarps have been hung up, and it creates the illusion of walls. But there is very little that doesn't echo through this entire space. So if you are trying to be discreet in the things that you are saying, Achira, I would encourage you to make a roll for me.
I would not have been trying to be stealthy about any of that. I would be screaming. But go ahead, Achira. I believe
Yeah,
you.
no. Let's go ahead and try a roll for this.
Make a stealth roll. And then I would ask both Kusanagi and Arya to make spot listen checks. Achira, make the roll when you're ready. That is 1 degree of success. And you do whisper, but the words echo out throughout this chamber.
Yeah, I think then Achira, looking at the environment that she's in, and realizing that it's not like so much wall, so much as chain link, would do more of a pulling Juniper close, and instead of saying don't trust the people around, would be like trust the history of the people that you know.
I don't trust any of you guys, like, at all, so that's, redundant. It's fine. This is fine.
There's some that you can trust more than others, and some that you know not to trust at all.
Kusanagi, you hear all of this. However, you are preoccupied with the individual that you're currently helping. Arya, it does make a certain amount of sense that you have 3 degrees of failure. You did not overhear any of this and are unaware of what is transpiring between Juniper and Achira. Meanwhile, I believe, Kusanagi, you had said that you wish to say something. Would you like to do that now?
Yeah. I think I look down at Arya, and I'm like, are you awake?
Like, totally? Kinda. This, like, really hurts.
You got attacked by that Romero outside, right?
Yeah, like, I totally really tried to hit it, and it threw, like, a thing at me, and fuck, this fucking hurts.
Your best bet whenever you see one of those is just to run. You can't stand your ground against something like that. But do you know where you're hurt? What kind? Like, how are you hurt?
My ribs hurt quite a bit.
Did they hit you with something blunt, or did you get bitten or scratched or any of that?
No. It really just felt like it was a giant wheel that came barreling at me.
Oh, okay.
And totally
Yeah.
understand about probably running. That's totally like my instinct, but you got to be honest with you. We ran up against this massive door.
Those kids are those your kids?
Ew, like no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just don't. I mean, they look like they're really scared, and I just, I thought that.
No,
maybe-
they were with that girl, that lady over there. Juniper.
She doesn't look much older than them.
Well,
Listen, I'm gonna, you just hang out here for a second. I'm gonna go get something for you to prop yourself up, and I'm gonna go find a doctor. We have a doctor in here with us.
thank you.
Actually, before I go though, like, maybe this isn't the right time for this, but are you Candy Max?
Like, totally. You
I thought
with
so.
Max. Yeah.
Wow, it's good to see you. I remember you, I guess. I'm Kusanagi, by the way.
Oh my God, it's such a pleasure to meet you, Kusanagi.
I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Can Achira have heard that with who
You-
Arya is?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Nobody was trying to be quiet about it, so I'm gonna say that everyone's able to hear this conversation. So that does echo through as your conversation ends. A woman with a bandana with a Joker face painted across it walks past you, shouldering an automatic rifle, and looks down at you. Yeah, Snowflake, I remember your show. It really fucking sucked. And she turns and just keeps walking, finding her way over to a couch, drops down on it, kicks her feet up, and just kind of like starts to throw back a flask. There's another gentleman that is on her right side who is dressed in black tactical gear and has a backwards cap and a backpack, and he's also carrying a gun. And he kind of like, he's older, he kind of looks over you and helps you up before stepping over, offers you a hand.
Definitely take it and prop myself up.
You do not look so good, eh?
No, but I like totally did the hero thing, I guess. I don't know.
That can get you killed. And he helps you walk over to a chair and then sets you down. Then takes a position next to this woman who's lowered her bandana down. She's pretty, but she has a very hardened face, and her eyes kind of seem to be taking in everything at all times. There's a older woman in her 50s who has dark hair, and it's very tightly pinned back with a couple of streaks of gray in it. She is standing. She's dressed in a very practical jumpsuit and has a number of weapons strapped to her side. She looks over at you and then looks back over to where Kusanagi is as Kusanagi approaches her. You see the other two individuals on the far side of the room as they were talking to one another. One of them being Juniper and the other being this new individual who you do not know. The two kids are still on the ground. They are huddled together and catatonic. What is everyone's intention?
I think I would probably need to rest or do like a medicine check on myself, and then I would go to take care of the kids and try to make them not catatonic anymore, or ask for help with that if I can't do it.
All right. As I told you in the previous session, it would require you getting them into a safe and secure space before you could make any further checks to try to calm them down. Since you are now within the secure confines of this safe house, you will be able to make a calm other check. However, you will currently have 2 black dice of difficulty added to your roll given the ordeal that they have been through.
Okay.
A final note about your surroundings that I feel is important to mention. Near the door, lying discarded on the ground, is a weeping, pus-covered, severed head. Its jaw has been completely removed through some horrid accident, and its tongue is still lolling out of its face in a darkened hole where its jaw should remain. Its teeth are shattered and its lips have been seared away. making it a permanent, horrid, snarling face. Its eyes are wide and open and unmoving and completely black, and a small pool of black, pussy blood works its way around the severed head. Achira, what is your intention?
Achira is going to make her way to the generator room to check just that seems to be the power center of this place, and is going to check on things there. She doesn't like being locked into bunkers, so she wants to know. She wants to just check on power source things and be like, how long will everything be good here? Otherwise, she might book out like she did earlier in a bunker situation when things did not look secure. But on her way to the generator room, she will pass Arya. And after hearing that conversation with her and Kusanagi, will like, as she's walking by, kind of fangirl out a little bit and look at her and be like, "You've been maxed."
Back at you. Ow! Ow!
I want you to make a spot listen check, as you are going to be paying attention to the mechanical components that make up the generator and the amount of gas that is currently stored within that small area. It is again held behind a series of fencing that has been covered in blue tarps, meaning that there is some segmentation to this space, creating a makeshift room. That spot listen is going to be rolled with a single black die of difficulty. And I need everyone to additionally roll a single blue die for their speed as well. Kusanagi, what is your intention?
I think I'm going to go try to find Dr. Espinosa and send her over, see if she'll go over and take a look at Arya. But then once I know that that is handled, if there aren't any complications with that, I'd probably try to check on the twins. And if I see Juniper trying to kind of calm them down, I'd probably go over to my VCR and pull out from my own personal stash of tapes, All Dogs Go to Heaven, and pop that in and see if a little animation helps them feel secure.
You are also going to make a calm other check. You're going to have 2 black dice of difficulty, but I will allow you and Juniper to add your successes together, since you are making the same roll to do the same task. Arya, what is your intention as you're in this chair?
My intention, first off, is to check to make sure that the thing that I was able to pocket, which was the medicine from earlier, didn't burst in my pocket while getting hit. And the rest of it is just me trying to relax and kind of understanding where I'm at.
Okay, so you are going to make a spot listen check as well, but I would additionally ask you to make a sense motive or detect motive roll as well. And that detect motive roll will have no difficulty dice added to it, but the spot listen is going to have two dice of difficulty added to it, given your injured state.
Okay, where am I adding the difficulty? My apologies for
No, that's okay.
skill.
When you it's a new system. When you're on Roll20, what you want to do is you want to click on the skill, the gray bar, and it's going to pull that up for you. And then you're, as we've said before, input value with Gear Kit. You can move past that, submit it, and then once you do, you're going to see past the multiplier. Just let that roll through, and then we'll. Okay, so you've got a speed of 2 and 3 degrees of failure on your spot listen, but you can go ahead and make your unhampered detect motives roll. Achira, your spot listen is a single failure. You have 1 degree of failure. And I believe have we resolved anything else?
I have 1 degree of failure, and then I just rolled a physical speed die
Yes.
for it's a 4.
Okay, so you're going to be going a little bit after Arya. Arya, you also have failed on your detect motives. The pain in your side is preventing you from really being able to understand much of anything that is happening around you. Your vision is blurry, and you are having trouble maintaining your posture. As every time you breathe, you feel like something is pressing against your lung, and your breathing is a little ragged right now. So the pain is preventing you from making any sort of judgment call about your surroundings. And Juniper, you said that you got a single degree of failure?
Yes.
Okay. And Achira, you got a single degree of failure on your spot listen for the generator room as well. Is that correct? You are muted.
Yes, but I believe I rolled and then you also rolled for me. So the one I rolled for me, I'm just going to be honest, is 5 degrees of failure.
Okay. And then Kusanagi, you have 2 degrees of failure on. Did you roll a detect motives or did you roll a calm others?
Yeah, I thought you needed to detect motives from everybody. But earlier on my calm others, I actually got another 2 degrees of failure. So
the children are not calmed, unless the two of you would like to spend your competency points. They are going to remain catatonic.
Well, yeah, we got 3 failures altogether. I think I'd be okay. I think I would burn my 3 competency points here to try to make that at the very least a wash. I don't know if Kusanagi wants to throw in any like 1.
Right.
no, I don't think so. I think
I'll use
I
my-
probably put in the wrong the wrong tape or something, and then I see what it is, but it's already the kids. I don't know if they've reacted to it or not, but I just kind of turned the volume down instead of stand in front of it.
On the screen, flickering in front of all of you, is a strange, blurry vision of a man with glasses who's in a lab coat, desperately explaining a horrible situation in a bunker far away from this one. You've all seen this tape with the exception of Arya. You recognize it immediately, and it does nothing to calm the children, and you hear his voice echo through the entire space.
We need help. You can't trust them. They're everywhere.
Okay, but I used 3 competency points, so it is at least 1 like a mild failure.
With your 3 competency points, however, you immediately take a knee near the 2 children, scoop them up, and pull them away from the VCR. Once you get them away from the screen and take them into a far corner of this space, they begin to calm down. And you can see that they're recognizing things around them. They're still very quiet, but they're no longer shaking. They've not said a word.
It's fine that this is all very bad, and again, not my fault, but we are clearly somewhere safe with walls, a big door, some people, a VCR that works, that maybe there's something better than scary guys talking about stuff. And I have a friend. I have 2 friends down here, and this woman who says her name is like Candy. That sounds cool, right? So just sit. I'm gonna figure out what's going on, and you can just. But we're fine. Everything's gonna be totally fine. I feel like I would throw her, like put her back. I would walk back with them in the direction that Achira pointed that Lampwick was. To maybe I knew that was like a convalescence room, or assumed it was, and just kind of stick them somewhere back there.
Are you going to take them back to the same fenced-off area that Lampwick is in?
Yeah, I'll start to look for it, because I don't think I see it yet.
Yeah, you find it. You start moving them over there, and we'll come back to you. Achira, you walk into the room with the generator, and you see the generator, and you see all of the gas in front of you. Is there anything that you wish to do to mitigate your failure?
I'm not going to spend any of my competency points for this. So I will say Then for the opposite end of that, I will say that Achira is more shaken with being in these underground passages than she thought that she would be. She does not deal well with dark spaces, even though she thinks that she does. So I think because of that, after going through these underground passages, having to counteract these Romeros, having to once again be in what is an underground location with a door that locks her off from the outside world, I think that that would really affect her temperament more than she would think that it would. So I would say that towards mitigating some of this failure, where it's just like, I feel like she would be more cagey and abrupt um, than she normally would.
I fully accept that. I feel like that is fair. This is calling back to moments where Achira has been locked in very small spaces for very long periods of time, something that she wasn't easily able to overcome. Now, you haven't fallen catatonic in this moment, but as soon as you turn the corner and are out of sight from the others, you suffer a panic attack.
She definitely puts her hand against the wall, presses her forehead against like the wall, and then just like kind of slides down while she's trying to breathe and not able to breathe, and she's trying to hold it together because literally everyone there saw her take down a Romero and then be all strong for the doctor, and now she's just trying to find the space to breathe in this place.
And it's hard. The air is heavy, and you can smell the dirt and the earth all around you. And despite these finished concrete walls, everything reeks of a world that has not known fresh air for many years. There's a whirling sound from the generator, and luckily, no one else hears you. As your breath begins to rage out of control, these panicked in and out pushes of air as you nearly cause yourself to pass out. You become very dizzy, and the world spins for a moment as you slink down on this chain link fence. And the generator continues to sputter in front of you wildly.
I think she would curl up and have her knees next to her, and like she's breathing, and she would remember a time between her and her brother where she had gone through a panic attack like this, and he had given her something to help talk her through this.
You conjure this memory of your brother's face and his broad, beaming smile that could light up any room. He was effortless in the way that he could change the moods of everyone that he encountered, naturally charismatic in a way that you were somewhat envious of. His eyes were always quick and intelligent, and though he was broad shouldered, he was so gentle in the way that he affected everyone around him. And you remember his face. And I need you to make a composure roll. And that roll is going to determine whether or not this ends well for you. No degrees of, or no dice of difficulty will be added to the roll.
Is there anything in the generator room that is hazardous?
Your memory is not a location hazard, my friend. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Perhaps it should be,
Okay.
but it is not within this world.
Yeah. Um, you know what? Fuck it. She's going to use all three to make this a success. I want her to have a good memory of her brother helping her through panic attacks for her to use in the future.
Well, that is a very good use of your 3 competency points, as it will immediately cause you to succeed. And you feel his hand pressed against your back, another on your shoulder as he's laughing. There's a carefree note to it that echoes out around you, and you remember walking in the park with him. Both of you now adults, or close to it, carefree, but there's still this echoing remembrance of what you were like as children. The relationship that you've carried with each other for so many years now. It never seemed to change. The world could beat you down and you could live 100 days of misery in a job that felt endless or a school that didn't understand you, but your brother and being with him for the briefest of moments brought back this intense acceptance and understanding and echo, this reverberation of what you were like when you were young. Your pure personality before this world had tarnished it and forced you to make choices that would affect you forever. You remember him close to you, and you remember him saying, "You know, little sis, one of these days, I'm gonna watch you make it, and it's gonna be wonderful. You're gonna do the things that you've always dreamed of doing. I don't have to worry. That's what makes me proud. That I know no matter where you are, you're gonna land on your feet."
Because you'll be there right with me. Always. Blaine.
Yeah, sure, I'll be with you, but I'll be cheering you on.
And I'll be punching you in the side because you know what? Without me, you're nothing.
Don't tell anybody, okay? I got a reputation. And he smiles at you as the two of you walk through the park. You pass by a small newspaper stand, and you caution a quick glance across the magazines and the newspapers that are there. Everything is alit with panic based on the world situation and the virus that seems to have gripped a hold of every nation, of every community. And yet, something in the back of your mind tells you you're going to be okay. You're still breathing in the small generator shed on the far side of this shelter while you hear voices outside. Kusanagi, you've moved over to the doctor, and she looks to you very sternly. She's cautioned a glance over at Arya already and is taking stock of the others. She rushes over to where Juniper is and embraces the two children. She then turns to Juniper, nods, and then moves back towards you, meeting your eyes.
You know these kids?
These children are a part of my community, and I was afraid that they hadn't made it. I think I have you to thank for that, don't I? She turns to Juniper.
All me, 100% me. No one helps. In fact, people thought I shouldn't do it, and then I did it. Can I get? I'm like real injured. I got real messed up. There were so many Romeros in this stupid cave.
Go lay down. The other rag and bone is back there. Lampwick,
Yeah, the old guy.
go rest.
All right.
take the twins with you.
Cool. All right, let's go, kids. Let's kind of shove them into the back area.
Look, I'm sorry. Kusanagi, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I haven't made a very good impression, I'm afraid.
Oh, I mean, I understand. I life's too short to hold grudges, really. Listen, I know that you probably don't know her, but one of the people who came in is like kind of important, I think, like to like world history. And I think she got hurt like really badly. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else that's more pressing, but could you take a look at her? I mean, just to make sure she's not like, like bleeding inside or whatever that is. I know that sometimes like you can't tell that like someone's really hurt, and I think that she's the sort of person who probably wouldn't say something if she was really hurt. Like try to tough it out, I guess.
Yes, of course. I'll take a look at her. There are quite a few people that are injured here. Kusanagi, do you have any medical training?
Kusanagi does have some first aid training.
The doctor looks at you. I'm gonna need help, and you seem to have a very level head. That's good. We can use that. Are you willing to learn and to help me help these people?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. And I mean, I'm grateful for any knowledge you can pass on.
Okay, here's what I need you to do. She begins to list off a number of things that she needs you to gather: bandages, antiseptics, and a series of pills by shape and color. And she directs you to one of the cages off to the far side. I'd like for you to make a first aid roll. I'm not going to impose any difficulty dice upon that, as you're going to gather together the resources that she's requested so that she can start to minister to each of the individuals that have been harmed within this space. All right?
Gotcha.
And I'll come right back to you. Arya, you have been sitting in the chair and very patiently holding yourself together, but it's becoming more and more difficult to hide the extent of the pain that you are in. What is your intention?
Presumably I'm trying to look for the medication that I pocketed. I'm hoping that I can find it, and I don't even know what it is, but who cares? I'm just gonna pop a pill in.
Okay, so you do have the medication that you had taken, and I would like for you to, in roll 20, just roll a single d10. All you have to do is type roll 1d10. There will be a slash in front of that, actually.
Thank you. / correct?
Yes.
Roll d10.
Roll d10. 1d10.
Oh, of course it doesn't like that. Let's try that again. Nope, doesn't like that either. Maybe it's a backslash. There we go. Nope.
Yeah, you didn't get that. So let me try for you here.
Thanks.
You've rolled a 5. And you drop this pill into your mouth, and it's chalky. And at first, nothing really happens. It dissolves sort of halfway in your mouth, and you swallow it, and you can feel it kind of sticking to the back of your throat. It's clearly handmade, and it doesn't have the same coating that pills from the world before would have. And so in ingesting this pill, you're not certain what effects to expect from it. But nothing untoward happens in this moment. The doctor approaches you. I'm the doctor. You can call me Maria if you like.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Maria. I'm Arya Contos, better known as Candy Max.
I don't care.
Great. Awesome. Look, lady, I could really use some help right now. I really don't know what's going on. I feel pain all the way from my rib all the way up into like my chest, almost into my throat. I really don't know what's going on.
I
I got
saw
hit.
some of what happened, and I can only imagine. Look, I need you to go back into this area over here. And she points back to one of the caged areas, and you can see that there's a series of bunks, and there's no one else in there at the moment, but she points over to it. Go into that space and take your shirt off, and I'll be right there to take a look.
Um. One second. That area over there, the caged area.
Yeah. So, do you want privacy, or, I mean, we could do it here. It's just a little awkward.
I mean, I prefer privacy, but are you gonna lock me in there?
I'm not going to lock you in a cage. Why would I do that? Has someone locked you in a cage recently, Arya?
No, not recently. Gosh, no. Okay.
I'm sorry. I need to look at your ribs and your side, and it looks like you're bleeding. I just won't be able to do that. It's just going to be an examination, and I can have somebody assist me if you would like. Rowan, would you like to assist me? Sure, Doc. Whatever you need. I just am gonna bring my flask with me, I guess, if that's all right. I don't need you to really do anything, so that would be fine if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll be in there.
I won't close the door all the way. So,
Thanks.
she walks over to you, Kusanagi. Do you know anything about her?
All right. Geez, I guess you're probably about my age or so. She was like a TV star.
Right. I've got at least 10 years on you, so you're going to have to
wow.
elaborate. I don't. Well, thank you. That's very kind, but I don't recognize her. Should I?
I mean, probably not. I mean, it was definitely targeted at a younger audience even than I was in, back before all of this. But yeah, Candy Max is like a secret agent, like dual identity. Like she had albums out too. She's like a pop star. It's like one of those crossover things, where like young entertainers just do multiple things.
Right. I'm assuming that when that was happening, that I was probably in medical school and I had a lot to do. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And then look, see that's paid off now. You
Right.
know,
So-
you're a doctor.
Great. Here's the thing. She is concerned about being entrapped, and I've been around long enough to know that usually means that there is some pretty deep-seated distress there. So I'm going to do everything that I can to be careful about this, but I really want you to keep everybody away from that room, okay?
Yeah. I got the stuff you asked for. I think this is like anti-inflammatory, like ibuprofen, like cold compresses, bandages.
That's good. That's good. You know what you're doing. That's more than I expected. So, Kusanagi, I appreciate it. Listen, just put all of that onto that tray over there, and then just set it outside of the room. And again, keep an eye on the others and try to keep them calm. If there's a lot of yelling or distress that happens out here, it could very well affect her. I've got to get back to those twins as soon as possible, too, because they're clearly not doing well. So, do me a favor and take one of these cold compresses and activate it. By the way, 50% of these don't work any longer. So find one that does work and take it into Juniper. Juniper? Take it into Juniper.
Okay. Juniper's the older kid, right?
The older kid, yes. Achira has told me a little, but I don't know what you know.
Nothing. I don't know anything.
All right. And you would come here with a group looking to salvage as well, correct?
Yeah, and I mean, I found the person I was looking for, but not in the shape I was hoping.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for your help. Stay close at hand. And she moves about and she starts working on other things. Juniper, you walk into the room that has Lampwick in it. And Lampwick is on a cot. And his eyes are open and they're kind of like flittering into the back of his head as he's breathing very heavily. And you see a number of pretty heavy wounds that have been recently bandaged. And his eyes stop and they kind of, you can tell they're trying to focus on you, but they're not quite making it to you. And he seems very sedated and out of it.
Hey.
Isabel? I don't...
Ooh.
Isabel,
Isabel?
come here. I gotta tell you something, Isabel. Isabel.
This is Juniper. Hello?
No. It's serious.
What's
Don't-
serious?
Don't
What?
leave. I don't... He like lulls over, he's mumbling to himself and then breaks back over. Don't go. She's got it. She took it. I don't trust her. She took the key from the doctor. I saw it, and I'm telling you.
Hey, shit. I like put his blanket over his mouth to kind of like cover. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds bad. Be quiet.
All right, so you put a blanket over him, and he's still.
I'm not like trying to kill him. I'm just trying to make him
No, I don't believe that you're trying to kill him. You do muffle his voice, and he does kind of lull off and stops talking. His hand that's on your arm kind of like goes limp and kind of falls to the side.
Ugh, okay, gross. All right, he had a really bad food poisoning, I guess. I don't know what's going on here.
He does not look like that was just food poisoning. He's been bandaged. His hand was bandaged. His chest was bandaged, and his head was bandaged. So he's gone through something, and you don't know what it is.
I'm gonna assume it's bad food poisoning.
All right.
All right, weird. That was weird. Hey, kids, are you cool? Are you cool, kids? Ugh, that was weird. All right, are you just lay down? Just lay down.
They are moving slowly. Both of them kind of like sit down, and they sit on the floor, and they both kind of crawl under the bed, under the cot.
Okay, that's fine too. Like saving space. It's nice and cozy in there. Sure, whatever. I just lay down on top of the bed that they're caught under and kind of I just lay down and take like a little nap or wait for assistance.
Okay.
I think I'm spent.
So yeah, you fall heavily into this cot, and as you're lying there, the full extent of your wounds begin to wash across you. You feel an immense amount of pain, and the bruising has gotten worse, and your head is just very, very gently spinning. You hear conversation happening outside. Kusanagi, you did turn off the VCR, correct?
I didn't stop the tape, but I did turn it down all the way.
Okay, yeah.
The volume down.
Yeah, eventually you hear something as the VCR pops a tape out. And there's like a little static that kind of rings out across the space. Arya, you step into this room, and it's fairly large. There's only 2 cots here on either side of the room. A moment later, the doctor comes in and inspects you, looking at your ribs, checking you to make sure that you don't have any other broken bones, but does inform you that it seems as if you've cracked a rib, and puts a compress on you and helps to create some very gentle compression using some bandages, some old Ace bandages that help to kind of hold everything together for a little while. She tells you that there's very little that she can do right now, and that you're going to need to probably be given some very mild painkillers to help you heal, but that she wants to monitor that because she's in charge of all of the medication that has been created within this bunker, and she's concerned that the strength of the medication might be too much for you.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, like how many capsules am I gonna have to take?
I'm going to give you a third of a pill a day. Any more would be a mistake.
Okay, I I guess I totally understand. What is it that you're trying to give me, just out of curiosity, so I understand?
They're painkillers. She is watching you very closely. So you were salvaging here as well.
Yeah, the group that I was traveling with, we needed some supplies as well, so I went out with my team and wound up here. Yeah.
And how many were in your group? Aria, right? It's Aria?
Yes. Yeah. Arya. Um, there was about maybe 5 of us. But it was
5 of
just
you.
me and my friend who came in to look around. That's how we found like Juniper and the kids.
And your friend didn't make it.
No, unfortunately, no.
She grabs you by the chin and holds your face and your eyes close to hers. Do you take drugs recreationally, Aria?
I don't know what you're talking about. Take them recreationally? Like, why would I do that? This body is a temple of mine.
Okay. It's just having been a leader within this community, the Grey Ridge community, you know, the one that's burning outside these walls.
Yeah.
Having been a member of that community for so long and a doctor, I've seen a lot. And you would think that 25 years without modern technology would have eradicated certain things from our communities, but it just isn't true. If somebody wants something or wants to find a high, it's been my experience that they'll do a lot to get it. And if you see enough people who have certain twitches and ask certain questions, you start to see a pattern. And I didn't become a doctor because I'm stupid.
Well, I understand that, but those are some interesting accusations, and I'm pretty sure that you didn't become a lawyer. So why are you interrogating me for?
I just want to know who's here.
I promise I really don't mean any harm, and to be honest, I would much rather go back up to my group, but unfortunately, here I am, or maybe fortunately, because you guys really did save my life here. I just want to feel better.
It's been my experience, Arya, that no one in this world, no one left, is truly innocent or helpless. Everyone finds a way to survive.
Yeah, that is true. It has been a very long time, and those of us who are around are definitely survivors. But I'd like to think that everybody has some good in them, no? Otherwise, why would humanity exist right now?
I saw what you did. I owe you. You saved those children. They mean a great deal to me. They mean a great deal to all of us.
I was happy to do so.
A third of a pill a day. That's what I'm going to prescribe for you. If you feel additional pain, talk to me.
Okay, and is that just for the rib, or is that going to take care of like what I was feeling in my neck too?
You haven't been bit, and I don't see any scratches. So I'll give you some antibiotic as well. That should knock anything that's residual out of you.
Okay, I understand.
All right.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Arya. I apologize if I seem harsh, but these are very, very difficult days.
These are harsh times, totally.
She turns and she walks out, leaving you to yourself for a little while. Achira, you've composed yourself. You've pulled yourself back together. What would you like to do?
Well, since she's checked the generator room and to what she can see, great, everything's working. You know, I'm not going to spend more time in here. So then that people might start looking for her. So she's going to exit out into storage, grab a few cans, and while she's walking back through, she's going to go towards the kitchen and be like, "Who's hungry?" Basically inviting whoever would want to chat with her to then chat, and whatever cans that she grabbed would be food.
Philippe's eyes light up, and he's smoking a joint on the couch, and he kind of leans over a pile of VHS towards you, raising his hand wildly. Rowan is standing outside of this cage door that is open just a crack, and you see the doctor and Candy Max on the inside of this room, just barely talking to one another. And you see the doctor step out, and then Rowan throws herself back into the couch, kicking her feet up onto the coffee table. The doctor stops, looks at you, nods, and then looks back across the room. Both of the twins are gone. Kusanagi, the doctor motions for you to join her as she walks into the room that Juniper is in.
I'll go with her.
Rowan looks over at you, Achira. So, what's on the menu in this sort of place?
Whatever's in these unidentified dented cans is on the menu.
Tin can roulette. You know I love it.
Yeah, depends on if I have a pot or a pan or whatever in the kitchen, and then opening this and pouring what's out. We'll see what we get.
Look, I don't want to brag, but I'm no slouch when it comes to finding my way around a kitchen. Why don't I give you a hand so you're not doing this alone?
I welcome the help.
Outstanding. And she throws herself up, and then she's just very helpful, very kind, handing you things, helping you chop things, just really making sure that you're not just cooking for everybody on your own. And while this is happening, Achira, I'd like for you to make a sense or detect motives roll.
Yeah, Achira doesn't respond well to kindness, so I wonder how this is gonna go.
Yeah, I mean it's good question. So let's see how the roll resolves itself. Nothing added to the roll. Just give me the straight roll.
Detect motives?
Yes, detect motives, please.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to let that? Well, you have to let that ride, don't you?
I do, because unless the kitchen is a location hazard, which I haven't turned anything into a fireball, so I don't see how it would be.
Yeah, if you set the kitchen on fire, we'll have that conversation. But meanwhile,
You know
I
what?
have to tell you that this is not a location hazard.
I will keep that in mind for the future, though.
Well, yeah, you could very well create a location hazard. We'll see how that resolves itself. So you have 5 degrees of failure, which means that you do not respond well to kindness. However, how do you think that Achira is reacting to Rowan's kindness in this moment? Maybe she's missed something. Maybe she's a little raw right now, having just gone through a panic attack.
I think Achira, with going through the tunnels with the doctor and having been hit by her, and considering the doctor as a resource that needs to be preserved to be out of here, and then going through that entire thing with like being in this bunker, and she does not like being enclosed, with having Rowan just do this kindness to her, I think that would affect her stronger than it would in any other sense. Like any other scenario, she'd be like, okay, what are you up to? No one volunteers in the kitchen if they're not family. But having this person do that after she went through all of this stuff, I think would soften her to Rowan in general. Like she would remember Rowan paying attention to her when she was in the battlefield and no one else was paying attention when she was like, no, shoot there, and Rowan did, for
Right.
instance.
I mean,
So
Rowan
it's
has proven themselves to be very competent and very attuned to all sorts of very difficult situations, especially where um, Romero's and danger are concerned. That seems to be where she thrives.
Mhm.
She's like a caged tiger half the time. Like you watch her and you it's strange to see her in this setting in a kitchen, and she's still pacing around like some sort of jungle cat trapped behind bars. You know that she does better when she's in the middle of a fray, when she's out in the wild dealing with the world as it is now. She's one of those people that you run across that you just know is better in the apocalypse than they would have been had things not fallen apart. And while the two of you are working together, you do find yourself perhaps unknowingly swayed to the idea of Rowan being an ally. And she looks at
like
you really,
maybe the doctor's wrong.
she looks at you very level headed. She very clearly, look, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, and you don't strike me as the sort of person who wants someone to beat around the bush. I think you probably appreciate someone who speaks their mind and is honest and puts the cards on the table when the time is right.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much a straight shooter type of a person.
Good. And I
Just
can tell that
because.
you're not used to all this or being around people. You seem like the type of person who's been alone for a long time. Trust me, I understand. Here's the thing, and I want you to think about this, and this is the last I'm going to say about it. Then I'm just going to help you make a nice dinner for everybody here. But I really, Achira, I need you to hear me right now. There's going to be a point very soon when you're going to need to make a choice about what this is all about and about where this is going to go, because Grey Ridge is gone. And I think you know what's at stake here. And some people, I think you know who I'm talking about, don't exactly agree with the way myself and the people that I represent do things. So, my question to you, Achira, is what side of that coin do you want to land on?
I I thought I knew, but I'm rethinking some things. I'm not promising anything, by the way. It's
No,
just,
no promises are necessary. I just need to know.
well, I don't know, which is different, a lot different from the answer that I thought I'd give to you before now.
Well, look, let's have our nice dinner. Let's let this little thing play out the way it's going to play out. And when the time comes, I want you and I to do each other the courtesy of being on the level. We communicate before we act, yeah? Can you give that to me?
I feel like you deserve that. So, because of that, I'll speak before I act. unlike what I usually do. I don't even know why I'm even promising you that right now. There's just something about you.
Well, hopefully I've proven myself to you. Perhaps in some little way you've seen that my people have figured it out and know what it takes to survive, you know?
Y'all did bring a tank after all.
Girl, I don't know how to tell you. We're not fucking around. And she goes back to the kitchen and starts chopping up some old canned vegetables and trying to make them somewhat more palatable. Inside of your room, June, Lampwick continues to mutter to himself. Every once in a while, you hear a fleeting word that makes sense, but it's usually surrounded by unintelligible mumbling. Both Kit and Crash, the two twins, are very quietly crying underneath the bed. They are no longer hysterical, but they are very upset. And it seems like they're slowly coming back to the point where they can speak and articulate and function normally. For two small children, even in a world that has fallen apart this drastically, the amount of carnage and death that they have seen just recently is unthinkable. And the abominations that you and they have witnessed are nightmarish and unthinkable as well. Kusanagi, you and Dr. Espinosa walk into the room, and the very matter-of-fact, rigid woman looks to you, June. Looks back to Kusanagi. You can just set that tray here. Juniper, can you show me exactly where you're wounded?
Michelle, the player, doesn't remember exactly where the wounds were. Was it?
There were a series of bruises, and you have a bloodied hand that has some lacerations on it. And on your left hand, you still have a set of handcuffs.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! What has happened to poor little June? Well, this one. Also, these two things, these two ding dongs under the bed. I point to the kids. I don't know if they're hurt or just like very upset, but I don't know. But yeah, these are the main problems. And this thing.
She begins examining you, and she is very careful. She's very clinical. It's not gentle. Her bedside manner is certainly lacking, but she's efficient. And she does manage to clean up your wounds and to disinfect most of the cuts and scrapes that you have undergone. She looks at all of it. Juniper, it looks like you're very lucky. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened to you?
Yeah, just gosh, I mean, I went up to the house and everyone was all spread out, and the kids were up in the house, so I grabbed them, and that crazy old lady was in your house being real bad and weird.
I
pretty
remember
sure
her.
I'm pretty sure she put a Romero loose in your house, so that was a whole situation. And then the kids led me down to the basement, and we got down to the weird lab. By the way, very spooky. I actually don't even want to know what you're doing down there, because I feel like we're not gonna have a good conversation about this. And then we got into the mine, and then
You were in the basement.
Yeah, it's spooky. But I mean, they're probably fine, right? They're in a cage.
Shh.
They're good.
Please. That's enough.
You shush me?
Yes.
I know I look really young, but I'm like 20-something, I think.
You're
I don't know what my
upset. You've been through a lot. There's no need to go through all of this.
Well,
You made it
asked
into
me-
the tunnels, and then what did you see?
Abigail came after me, and that was bad. And it got pretty messed up from there. And then we ran away, and then another guy came in, not a Romero. And then he got eaten by Abigail, I'm pretty sure. And then his friends came, there was like seven. There's like a bunch of groups, and then his friends came and looking for him. And I said, "Don't look for him. You're gonna get eaten." And they're like, "You're dumb." And then they went with him. They definitely got eaten or killed because I heard them yelling. And then they had a friend who was with us, and I got knocked out at some point, and he's dead. He's definitely dead. And we were in a storage unit, and then that girl came. The Candy. Her name is Candy Lane or something. And then with a friend.
Right.
What happened to
Her
friend?
name is
Maybe
Aria, but yes,
okay.
I know who.
Well, maybe her friend is. I feel like there's another person. I don't know. He's probably dead. I can't keep track. There was a lot of running and screaming getting into that door. And yeah, then we came here. Woo.
She takes a lantern and holds it up and asks you to follow the light.
You want to get up? Oh, you mean?
No, she means she's moving the light so that she can watch your eyes. Do you remember being struck in the head, Juniper?
Kind of a lot. I mean, I feel like what hit was not at my head. I was being strangled at some points. I probably got knocked around. Yes. The answer is yes.
Thank you. I believe you have a concussion.
Ooh, that sounds. What's that? I don't know what that is.
Okay. It means that you have suffered a head injury and that it could affect the way you think, and that it's very important that for a little while you not go to sleep. So I need you to sit up and to talk to Kusanagi here.
I don't know who that is.
This is Kusanagi.
Hi. We haven't met yet. Yeah, I'm Kusanagi.
I want you to talk to him, and I don't want you to go to sleep anytime soon. We need to make sure that you're not affected in a way that would cause bleeding to happen inside your brain. It could be very bad for you. It could kill you. So
is talking the medicine part of this, or are we not going to give me anything to eat?
Talking, and Kusanagi's going to help me with this, Juniper. Talking is going to absolutely help you by continuing to keep a conversation going. That means that if you stop talking or if your words don't make sense, Kusanagi is going to then alert me so that I can come and, if I have to, do something more drastic.
Okay, so we're talking. Can you check the kid? The kids are they're probably fine, but there was a period of time that I don't remember, so maybe they're not fine. But they're here, and I just kind of like lift the sheet of the bed to show them they're under the bed.
She looks down, and she looks very sad. She kind of collapses onto the ground, and you see this exterior that she's built up around her sort of break away for a moment. And she reaches her arms underneath the bed, and you can tell that she's just holding on to the children's hands. And she begins crying. And she stops, and she wipes the tears away. I'm so glad that you saved them.
I questioned it a couple of times, but I think I'm glad too.
They don't deserve to have been left in that house, but we didn't know that it was going to be compromised. We thought that it was the safest place for them. Now I can see that that was a mistake, and that letting them out of my sight was a mistake.
Yeah, they're tough though. They one can shoot a gun, not very good. They're gonna be fine.
I don't doubt that. They're survivors just like all of us. Kusanagi, can I speak to you for a moment, please?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And the doctor takes you out and across all the way away from this room. Juniper, you can make a spot listen, but I'm going to give you 2 dice of difficulty that I would like for you to add to that roll. Kusanagi, she takes you across, and you see Achira and Rowan cooking in the kitchen, and she walks you over to the corner. Achira, you can also make a roll. And then Arya, if you're coming out at this point, you can also make a roll for spot listen. She looks at you very levelly, Kusanagi, as you can see that she's worried. She's concerned. It appears as if Juniper has suffered a very bad head injury. And if I'm correct, and she's not able to... If it's not able to resolve itself in the next few hours, and if she shows any signs of this concussion growing worse, I may need to perform a surgery to alleviate the pressure in her skull.
Wow.
So there's a lot of fluid. I feel like it's building up currently. And it's a fairly simple procedure, but as you know, these days, anything that might go wrong with this could kill her. And so
yeah, I'm sure it's dangerous even under ideal conditions, which I gotta be honest, this is not.
I need you to keep a very sharp eye on her, and I want you to look for these signs. If she loses coherency, if she's not speaking in complete sentences, if she is acting like she's in a different place, I want you to find me immediately. And this may take a few hours. Are you willing to do this to help her?
Oh yeah, certainly. Did you look at Candy Max?
I did. So Aria, her name is Aria.
Yeah, Aria. Yeah, that's
it.
Yeah.
She is she's hurt, and she has a cracked rib. But as long as she's careful and takes the time to let that heal, she should be just fine. She's not going to be comfortable, but she'll be fine.
Did you have to give her some of those painkillers that you make?
Yes, I'm giving her some painkillers.
Okay, thank you. Honestly, I mean, yeah, I can totally talk to Juniper, and yeah, I'm a big talker.
All right. Go and keep an eye on her. Nobody leaves her alone. And so Kusanagi, you go back. Arya, you've entered into the space. The doctor looks over at you. You have rolled on your spot listen 4 degrees of failure, as has Achira. Juniper, however, you have gotten 1 degree of success on your spot listen. So, June, you heard this. You didn't hear all of it. But you definitely heard the word surgery, and you definitely heard her asking this Kusanagi person to watch you.
I have something I want to do the minute I get in the room, honestly.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to you. Aria, you step in, and you see the doctor. The doctor looks to you. What do you do?
Doc, is it possible to get some of those painkillers now? It's really, really kind of hurting.
Am I in the room with, behind the doctor?
Yeah, you're with the doctor. You haven't walked over yet.
So, Arya can see me, but the doctor's back is to me, right?
Yeah.
I want to go.
The doctor hears you, turns and walks over to the dining table and takes out a number of glass bottles, pours a couple of large pills out, pulls out a pocket knife, disinfects it with a small, clean handkerchief with a little bit of a rubbing alcohol, and then cuts a pill into 3 parts, handing you 1 part of that pill. If you need water, there's some over there. There are cups as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And I'm gonna head to go get some water and look back at Kusanagi
Kusanagi, do you walk into Juniper's room?
Yeah.
You walk into Juniper's room.
The minute I see that the doctor is not watching me, I want to go right over to Juniper and go, listen, I heard what you were saying, and I believe you. And whatever, I don't think this doctor really has your best interests at heart.
Oh, she's so mean. She's like hella mean.
You gotta keep your voice down. You gotta keep your voice down, though.
I think she knows I think I hate her, but...
Okay, well, that's fine. Just keep acting exactly the way you were, but don't worry. I'm not gonna let her do any sort of surgery on you or whatever she wants to do.
I mean, me neither. That sounds
You
shitty.
know things which she doesn't want you to share with other people.
Oh.
And we have to make sure that we get out of here alive and away from her. Because I don't know what sort of experiment she's doing or whatever, but don't take anything that she offers. If you can find a way to just take it and make an excuse and like hide that you're not taking it or whatever, we have to do that. I'm going to try to find a way to talk to the other people and make sure that they all know about this, but I think that she is upset. She talks about us like we're all just salvagers, like we're here like vultures trying to... I think she blames these people for what happened to her community, honestly.
Oh, yeah, 100%. As soon as we walked in, it was like, hey,
Now-
you got rebrought of those Romero's friends.
Yeah, honestly. And this is a very bad situation. And I don't know if she's just had a bad time. I don't know if she's a bad person.
Probably
but
not.
Who knows? But we're going to get through this and we're going to get out of here alive.
Yeah, of course I was gonna get out of here alive. I don't feel like I need to bring all of everyone here with me, but I was with Achira and Lampwick and the one who's not here anymore, and that was our team, and we're just delivering stuff. Man,
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm a trader too, so I know how this stuff works. But honestly, like when people lose something like she has, sometimes they'll take bigger risks or they'll do
Well, why don't we just
dangerous
leave?
things.
I mean,
That's the thing. It's like we need to go in a way that's not going to cause suspicion. She's the one who has the keys to this place. I mean, I don't want to alarm you, but we're basically locked in here. So
I like slap Lampwick in the face a little bit. Like,
hey, no, he's hurt. You can't slap him. Don't slap him.
You can slap whoever you want to slap. It's not. No, come on. He's fine.
You're gonna make it worse. Look at he's got injuries.
How? Look at he's fine. That's okay.
I want Kusanagi to make a spot listen check with 3 dice of difficulty added to it because Juniper keeps talking over whatever Lampwick is saying.
All right.
What have I done?
You killed us all.
I am only saying normal things. I'm not saying anything weird.
Okay, that's 1 degree of failure. Now
I'm gonna spend 2 competency points to bump that up to. Well, actually, if I spend 1, it makes it it still counts as a single success, right?
It
So
does
spending
not.
2. Oh, it doesn't.
No,
Okay.
well, it's per GM who runs the system. Particularly kind GMs will allow a wash to be a success, but I do not.
Okay, I'll spend 2 if that's what it takes me to hear it.
Yes. So spending 2 competency points, I will allow that to shift into a success. And Kusanagi, you do hear, and you almost missed it, as Juniper is kind of like muffling Lampwick and smacking his head and just talking over the whole thing. But you very clearly hear the words, "Isabel, don't go," and "She took the keys from the doctor."
Who took the keys? Lampwick, who took the keys?
Shut up! You're not his friend, you weirdo. He's whispering in this man's ear.
Our lives are at stake.
What do we? Oh, keys, because there's key. Okay, that makes more sense. Who's Isabel?
Juniper, if you can just hold on for just a minute. Let's let Lampwick talk, okay?
He's like real sleepy.
I know, and that's why it's probably hard for him to talk, but we got to give him an opportunity. Lampwick, who took the keys?
I would like for you to make a persuasion check. And so there's not going to be any degrees of difficulty added to that, or any dice of difficulty, but I feel like that is probably the best skill to have you roll. It's either that or calm other. I'm going to have you make a persuade. Yeah. As you're trying to, even though he's unconscious and sort of in and out of his awareness, I feel like you're trying to coax this information back out of a very muddled mind. So make a persuasion.
With any difficulty on it or any of that sort of stuff?
No, I'm allowing you to roll it straight.
Okay.
But I heard him say earlier, Isabel, right?
You have heard everything correctly.
Okay, right. Oh, right, Kusanagi, yes, okay.
That is very bad. So you have four degrees of failure. He doesn't. He's mumbling incoherently. You can't get anything else out of him.
It's fine. I mean, he look, Lampwick is my friend, maybe. And when he wakes up, we will have a conversation, maybe?
I mean, if he wakes up, like, she's been giving him drugs too. Who knows?
Oh, okay. So I guess what I'm hearing is don't let her give him more drugs.
I don't think we should let her give anybody any more drugs until we
people
until
keep
we
asking
find
her
out
for drugs.
that we have a way to get out of here. We need to stay on her good side.
Well, she already doesn't like me, and I don't really like her, so I feel like we are good. We're sort of like at an equal.
I mean, you could be able to use that to your advantage. There's ways you can needle her and get under her skin in ways that if one of the other of us did it, it would be suspicious. But
It
from
sounds
you,
like-
it's just how you already established a dynamic with her, right? So
Okay,
just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
I'm just gonna tell you, it does sound like a lot of work, and I think we could just kill her. I mean, if she's evil, listen.
Well, that's the thing is, hold on. No. She is not evil. She's probably just in a bad situation. So,
which is fine, but if she's gonna mess me up and my friends, then that's it. Why do I care about her?
well, I mean, if she does anything that openly threatens anybody, but that's the thing. I am guessing.
Liquid.
I'm pretty sure about all this stuff, but I'm not totally sure. And it's also like, who am I to judge, right? So, I'm just saying we need to be careful around her, and we need to all protect ourselves and each other.
Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Achira, you continue to work with Rowan standing next to you, and Arya steps out. She's holding a pill, a third of a pill in her hand. Arya, did you get some water as well?
Yes.
So you've got this small, old, beat-up army tin cup, and it's full of kind of brackish water. And you come back over and you see Achira and Rowan working in the kitchen, cooking a little. Every movement you make is pretty bad, but you're able to walk. It's just not very comfortable, and it's certainly not comfortable to stand for too long.
I'd like to take a seat, but go for it, Shira.
Yeah, no, when Chira sees Arya enter the kitchen and everything, remembering she had her like whole fangirl moment earlier, and then seeing her enter, kind of is like to Rowan, you have this, right? Yeah, you've got this, and takes a well, what does she take with her? One of the cans that she grabbed with her was pineapple rings, which the pineapple rings have already been put onto a plate. So she just has like the pineapple juice in a can that she then goes and sits next to Arya with the can full of pineapple juice that she has.
Hey, what's like going on?
I know you. I not know you, obviously. No, I know your work. And Candy Max, special agent Candy Max, and Candy Max in the Impossible Mission.
Yeah.
You've been maxed out.
Yeah, what's the 411?
Oh, yes, exactly that. Oh God, what do I want to say right now? I want you to know that I am very, 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 very happy that you survived. That's so weird to say. I'm being weird right now.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm pretty much used to this. Oh, how have you been surviving here?
And then just Achira gets like really quiet for a second, and then looks back up at you as kind of like a furtive look, And it's like, I'm doing apocalypse normal, basically.
So that's like a level like 0 is what I'm understanding here.
Well, if zero is normal, then I guess that's where I am.
It's like baseline. It's not the greatest, but it's not like negative.
Well, I mean, if there has to be different ways to establish it, because like emotionally, I'm at a 0, but when it comes to survival wise, I think there needs to be like a subsect of everything.
Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. You're at the level of like when I was totally at the finale fight of Candy Max and the Impossible Mission, where I was like totally like not gonna make it, and like it was super hard to cope with, but like totally at the end, I slayed it.
That, yes, that is exactly the vibe right now.
Like I totally had to
And-
psych myself up for that. Like, oh my gosh.
That is exactly where I am. Oh my God. I wish that you had been able to meet my friend, Malibu Stacy, and she would have loved this moment so much. So much.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I wish I would have met her. Hey, I have a question for you.
Oh. Oh, okay.
The doc was supposed to get me some more medication, but she didn't come back. Is there any way like you can help me?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, what kind are you looking for right now? I mean, I tend to spend a lot of time on my own, so I think like psychedelics are really good. I mean, what kind of medication are you thinking of
Well, I mean, like
right
she gave
now?
me like a little bit of the painkiller, and she told me to come find her.
Oh,
Like,
regular stuff. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I know.
what
Yeah,
are the wait? What are these psychedelic things
no,
though? Like,
no, no. That's like not even a thing.
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So just like some painkillers, like Tylenol 3 or something like that. Yeah, yeah. I know where some of that is in here,
is there
and
something better than Tylenol? Like, I was like kind of allergic back to then with it.
oh, to Tylenol.
Yeah, it was really bad. Like, it just kind of like, yeah, it was not great.
Can Achira do a detect something here with this, where it's just like
You make a detect motives roll.
detect motives? Yeah, it was just like
However, I will have Arya make a persuasion check against it.
okay. Yeah, this won't be very high because like she is not a people person. So this will be interesting if she rolls her number at all. Yeah, no. She's got 2 degrees of failure on this.
Arya, you have rolled excessively badly, however. Maybe it's the pain that you are
Yeah.
currently suffering from. Do you have any other abilities that allow you to skew social situations?
Not that I'm seeing, but I do have some points that I could push the roll.
Would you like to do that?
Yes, very much so.
How many of those points are you going to spend?
Oof. I'm just realizing how badly I messed up here.
You won't be
Well-
able to turn it into a success, but if you spend 2, you will not fail worse than Achira, which means that Achira will not pick up on it.
I'm gonna spend 2.
All right. So you spend 2 competency points, which means that you fail by 1 degree. However, Achira, you fail by 2 degrees. And so this plays out how you would expect. You in the back of your head, Arya, you hear first the clacking of heels on concrete, and then you hear Margot Page's voice in your head, as clear as a bell. Anything you want in this world, you have to take. And if you don't know how to work your tongue in a way that's going to entice others to your cause, you might as well be dead already.
Yeah, yeah. Bend it to my cause. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you are you all right? You just seem to.
Oh my god, like totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally okay. Is it? This is just. Is it,
Oh,
oh.
you know what? You're I have something in mind that it's not I mean, it's not what you would get back in any of your TV shows like OTC kind of a thing, but I I'm sure I saw something that could kill the pain a little bit and like also keep you on your feet and not like just like knock you out. So I'll grab that if that's what you're into. It seems like that's what
Yeah.
you want.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. That would be so much better. Thank you.
All right.
As Arya is sitting in her chair, the effect of the whole pill that she took some time ago begins to wreak havoc upon her system. Adding to it that third of a pill that she's just taken with a very brackish water, the room begins to spin, and Arya Cantos drops out of her chair onto the ground. Everything goes dark. Arya, it's July 1999. You're 18 years old. The summer heat is sticky, and your makeup has been very carefully placed upon your face. Margot has taught you very clearly what is expected of you, and you sit before the mirror inside of the rusted out old RV. It hasn't run in years, but you've used it as a quiet place. You keep a few of your supplies here. The cosmetics that have been gathered for you over the course of the years. They're getting harder and harder to find. Many of them have gone bad. You've had to mix your own forms of base and blush, mixing together whatever you could find. You've even used crayons to do the best that you could. You still look good. The summer heat has turned this old RV into a tin can, though, one that is slowly cooking you from the inside out. You don't really mind. You're dressed in a very, very slinky dress, and you're wearing a jean jacket with the logo for Candy Max emblazoned across the back. It's been hand painted. Rhinestones have been placed on it, but more than a few of them have been lost over the years. You grab onto a pair of old Ray-Ban sunglasses and grab a purse and begin walking out into the summer heat. You see the other caravan there before you. A large number of vehicles. Gas is still somewhat plentiful. It can be found and siphoned in a number of places. Others have begun to already manufacture their own biodiesel and do what they can to keep some of these old vehicles running. But it's becoming more and more rare. Things are falling apart. The world, after 1995, is dead. And you've realized that you are simply living on the corpse of what once was. After that flight and all of the chaos that broke out thereafter, the airports, the National Guard, Pittsburgh on fire, you realized that you would never see Beverly Hills again. You would never see your parents again. Not that you believed that they really cared. Margot cared, though. Margot cared a little too much. She didn't let you out of her sight. She knew that you had value. And as soon as everything fell apart, she refused. to let you out of her grasp. Your bodyguard bulldog did what he could. And over the years, he's become the closest thing to family that you've had. But this is a twisted, horrible family. And you hate it. You hate the things that you've done. And you hate who you've become. A shallow echo of an imagined character that made your family millionaires. And now, that character was used. Your fame, as fleeting as it is, every day that passes, more people die, more people forget who you even were. The cultural credibility of your station in society has disappeared. And now it's become a mockery of what it once was. You step out from your RV into the heat and you see Bulldog standing close by. His hair was once perfectly dark and close trimmed, almost bald against his head, but he's grown it out, and now it's long and pulled back. He's riddled with scars. He still wears a suit, but it's been stitched together so many times that he looks like a scarecrow. As you step out, he looks to you. Are you ready?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do I look okay?
You always look good. You always take care of yourself. You've done well.
I don't want to do this.
I know. I don't like it either. I don't like standing over you. I don't like watching them take you away.
Gotta do something about this. We gotta do something. I can't keep doing this.
Margot's clear about what needs to happen. She's got all the pull with the community. They listen to her. I mean, they're terrified, but listen, little butterfly, I can't do a whole lot from this position. You know that, right? Like, I'm...
But you can. You can help me get out of this.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we would make it on our own. Do you know how many we've run across that on their own just died out there? The dead are everywhere. We don't... I mean, what the fuck do they call them now? Romeros?
Yeah.
That's a sick joke. I used to watch those movies. I used to love them. Now I just... it makes me sick. Look, I don't like this any more than you do. We'll find a way. I'll talk to Margot again. She was pretty fiery upset last time I mentioned it, but... you know, she has to realize this can't go on.
Okay. All right.
You're strong, okay?
Yeah.
He walks with you across this courtyard, and you see a number of other vehicles. There is a large semi-trailer that has a number of shacks built across the back of it. They're corrugated tin, and they're strapped together in unbelievable angles. It doesn't seem very safe or secure, but there's a large number of individuals hanging off of the back of it and milling about in the crowd. You can see Margot there. The apocalypse hasn't been kind to her either, but she's managed to maintain a poise and a very controlled and strangely elegant look in the middle of all of this. Her high heels are no longer with her, she now stands at her full height, almost 6 inches shorter than she used to when the world was much more normal. Now she wears perfectly polished cowboy boots that gleam in the light, sensible pants, and a tight men's jacket that has been stitched very close to her body. She barks orders at a number of individuals as they move large boxes and crates back and forth. She's in the middle of another trade. It's something that she does very well. In the middle of all of this, it didn't take long for her to latch on to the strongest, most likely to survive community in the area. And then slowly she worked her way up until she was right next to the person who had been in charge the entire time. And then wouldn't you know, he had an accident. And now she's in charge. "64 souls under her call. All of them terrified of her, of what she can do. She doesn't even raise a hand. Sure, Bulldog does a lot of the dirty work. Perhaps it's a flaw in his character that he allows her to continue to control him. Or maybe he's smart enough to know that she will keep you all alive. There have been terrifying moments, years and months where you thought that this was going to be the end. But she never let you go hungry. She never allowed you to be put in harm's way. Not in any physically dangerous sense, and protected you against the walking dead. But what this woman has turned you into, what she's made you do, is wholly more monstrous than anything this world has to offer. There are no courts. There are no police. There is no justice other than that which you take yourself. This world is wild and hateful, and it scares you. And so, all of these years, since everything fell apart, you've stayed with her. And she's continued to feed your habit. She gives you what you want. She finds pills, alcohol, other things that help you to numb the pain, to forget, to remove yourself, to pull yourself free. And here it is, another trade day, and all the boxes and the crates are being shipped back and forth between the vehicles, and you know that what she has just garnered from this group will keep the community alive months and months into the future. But you still hate her. She's yelling now, barking orders left and right to individuals around her, and then she walks over to you. My God, I thought I was going to have to come in there and grab you. Could you have taken any longer?
Oh my God, I'm like so sorry. It's really hard. There's not enough makeup to go around and make my face look younger.
All right. Well, you've done well with what you have. That's my girl. Now I need you to be yourself. Really turn on the charm. We need them to make 2 more of these shipments. It's on you. Can you do that for me?
Margaret, I don't know. Like, that's a lot to ask for. Okay, yeah. I could totally do it.
Convince them. Make them believe you. This is the performance of your life. This is what you're good at. This is why you're special. This is how we survive. How we remain in this world. You know that. Arya, you're a monster. just like me. You know how to manipulate them, how to make them believe anything that you say. Do it. Make them believe. Can you make them believe, Arya?
Yeah. Yes. I could totally do that.
That's my girl. Now, Raymond, she turns around and in a very grandiose style walks across like a carnival barker. Now, Raymond, I am going to accept this trade, but I want you to understand that we've been thinking about things. In a couple of months, we're going to have to do this again, and we want special considerations. Now, I know all about your considerations, about what you've been asking for and what you think you owe, what you think you've earned out of this. I gotta say, we do this deal plenty of times with other communities, and I don't see anything special. Nothing special that you're offering. Now, Raymond, that's where you're wrong. You've been wrong about a lot of things. Listen, I'm not gonna try to convince you. I'm gonna leave that to Candy Max here. I think she'll convince you that we have mutually aligned intentions, and that together we can do great things. Candy, come say hi to Raymond.
Oh my god. Hi, Raymond. It's so nice to meet you.
There's a long, quiet moment. And then there's a gunshot. It rings out behind you. Raymond drops to the ground. A hole in his head the size of a baseball. He falls over, bleeding. Bulldog is standing behind you, his revolver drawn. Arya, what do you do in this moment? This man's brains have just exploded out of the back of his skull, and he has dropped down to the ground, dead in front of you.
I'm frantically, wanting to scream, but I'm looking to where Margot went because I really don't know what to do in this moment. I'm a little bit, struck.
She dropped to the ground. She was right next to you, and rather than grab you, she dropped to the ground. You see Bulldog standing there. His face is like stone. Margot is screaming. Others start pulling weapons out. What the fuck was that? What have you done? All of the weapons from the rest of this community are pointed on this group in the center of this caravan. Margot holds her hands up. We've got a rogue actor here. I want you to know right now that we would never... This isn't... She turns and looks to you. You did this.
Me? What? I don't know what you mean.
Bulldog grabs you by the shoulder. Margot starts striking him across the face. She draws her pistol, and you can see that he's pressing something into your hands as Margot fires.
I'm gonna pop one right into her.
The gun is in your hands. Bulldog drops to the ground at your feet, dead. You raise the gun to Margot. Her hands are up. Do you fire?
Yes.
You pull the trigger. I'd like for you to roll. The revolver will be the same as the revolver that you have. So use your pistol skill. There are no added difficulty dice. All of your training, everything that you have learned from Bulldog, those hours spent on the shooting range, they all come back to you. Everything disappears, and you're calm. You inhale and you begin to squeeze the trigger, not pull it. Very carefully. And you fire. Everyone around you is confused. Guns are trained on all of you. In the middle of a clusterfuck that's just erupted in the front of this trade deal. And you pull the trigger. And you miss. Margot is in front of you, spinning the gun onto you now. You're both pointing weapons at each other. All right, honey. Just put the gun down.
No, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck this world. Fuck being your fucking little Barbie doll.
You're upset.
No shit.
I get it. I get it. And look at poor Bulldog. Look at what you've done to Bulldog.
I butt down to Bulldog? That's some manipulative bullshit.
I want you to put the gun down now.
No,
and we'll
fuck
talk
you.
about this.
No, put yours down.
There are a lot of angry people with guns on us right now. I want you to live. I want you to set the gun down. You know what I can do. What I will do if you don't listen to me.
You know what? I want you to fucking die. I'm gonna pop her again.
Make another roll. And she's going to do what she does.
Ooh.
She steps forward, and you can see that she has the gun trained on you. And in the moment when you think that she's about to pull the trigger, you pull the trigger first. It riddles the front of her chest, throwing her backwards as 4 other gunshots follow after. The individuals with rifles on the far side of this scene are firing at her, not you. Her body is riddled with bullets as she drops to the ground dead. Everyone is frozen, looking at you. Juniper, you are inside of the small caged room on the far side of this safe house, this concrete box that all of you have taken sanctuary within. The children are underneath the bed, softly crying. Luis Lampwick is lying in the bed, unconscious, murmuring to himself. You hear his murmuring, but it is unclear as to what he's saying. Every once in a while, you hear something about keys and someone named Isabel. Kusanagi, you've re-entered the room. What would you like to do?
So, Juniper, how are you feeling?
Probably fine. I don't know. Good. Fine. I'm fine. Listen, you said this place is locked, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I thought the doctor had the only set of keys to get in here, but I don't know. Unless, Lampwick is just remembering something else.
I don't know. I guess I don't really know a lot about him, but I'm just gonna tell you that I think he said that someone named Isabel has the keys, and I don't know any Isabel, so she's probably somewhere in this room, in this building, maybe.
Well, since we've been in here in this safe room, he's only really talked to Achira and a Philippe.
Well, maybe he didn't talk to this Isabel person. Maybe he just saw the. No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what he said, or if he's talking about Isabel, or is he talking to Isabel, or.
Okay, well, let's do process of elimination, right? If they're saying she, the people who are in here who use that pronoun are Achira and Rowan.
So we just ask them if they have the key. I feel
No,
like I
no,
could
no,
ask Achira, because if she has the
No,
key,
no, 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 no,
we
no.
gonna go. No.
I think that we should talk to Achira, not say anything about the keys, but let her know if we have suspicions about this doctor.
Oh yes, good idea. Yes, talking.
There's no point confronting anybody here. What we don't want to do is cause animosity. This is a contained situation.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I mean, I guess
here's the
I
thing,
wanna...
though, is like Achira doesn't really know me. So, maybe you should talk to her.
we just met. I don't know if you can tell. I am not the greatest, talker of...
She has more reason to trust you than she does me.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I mean, I'm sure I want... She will know I want to leave. That's very obvious. I mean, I don't want to hang out in this weird bunker forever. So yeah, gotta go.
And I mean, honestly, I don't think that the doctor is conspiring with anybody else that's in our group. In fact, I think the doctor sees everybody in this group as somehow responsible for what happened here. For either what we did or just the fact that we came here. She thinks that we're scavengers, basically. And you said something, hold on, you said something earlier about a lab? You saw some lab underneath?
Oh yeah, there's like a full lab with people locked in cages, and I just was like,
People
don't have time for
locked
this
in
right now.
cages.
I was being chased. I did not have time for any of that.
All right. See, I was suspicious before, because if it was just a lab, it could be for what she's doing, right? Which on supposedly making penicillin. But there's no explanation about keeping people in cages that's going to make me think that she's doing the right thing here. So we need to get this information to the other people in the group, but we need to do it before the doctor finds out.
And if she does, then we kill her.
We'll take it a few steps as we go. Now,
okay, well,
do you have a weapon?
I do, but it's missing some parts. But it's fine. Still have a gun. Not sure how many bullets are in it.
Do you need some bullets?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Hey, I think. Oh, that's right. They don't have the gun. I have the gun. I'm trying to remember if the kids have because I gave the children a gun earlier. Yeah.
Now,
totally.
I know that these kids seem like they're in a lot of trouble, but I don't think that she's going to hurt these kids, at least in the short term.
She seemed like she cared about them more than anyone else in this weird town has. So.
And if she's experimenting on people, I don't think she's experimenting on these kids.
Well, you never know. I want to take these kids with us if we go. I don't think they should be in here.
I think that's a good idea, but I think we're going to have to get our priorities straight. And our first priority is going to have to be getting as many of us out of here in one piece.
Okay, again, don't know you, but I would like to leave. So if talking to you helps me with that, that's what I will do.
Juniper, I'd like for you to make an endurance check, please. And I'd like to add 2 black difficulty dice to it, given your injuries.
All right. So good. That is 5 degrees of failure, and I have no more competency points, so I'm probably gonna die.
I don't think you're going to die. I do think that you're going to pass out, though. So you begin to stand as Kusanagi has suggested that you all start activating this. And Kusanagi, go ahead and make a lift pull check, as I would like for you to prove to me that Kusanagi is able to catch Juniper as she falls.
Roll to the ground.
And you shoot your arms out just a little too late as Juniper hits the ground with a thud. And you hear kind of like small whelps come from under the bed as June is now lying on the ground.
All right, I'm gonna get under her arms and try to lift her up onto the bed, and I'm gonna sort of like gently sort of pat the sides of her face and try to wake her up.
All right. Achira, both you and Rowan have been cooking. You went to go find additional medication, didn't you? And what did you do when Arya dropped out of her chair?
I was there to see it when I.
You
when
were
I-
not. You come back from the cage where the medical supplies were kept, and you see Rowan standing over Arya. Hey, Doc, you did a shitty job.
Achira would run up to Rowan to grab the dish towel out of her hand to, while looking her in the face, run it under water, like cold water, wring it out to then put it on Arya's forehead. So in that instance, like taking that away from Rowan and then like kind of dismissing her while she puts that that towel on Arya's head to try to bring her back around. So I think what Achira would do is try to do a little bit of a little bit of first aid on Arya to bring her back around to be able to take the medication that she found.
Okay. Go ahead and make a first aid check, please.
Yeah, this didn't work so well for Lampwick, but this isn't Lampwick, so
Maybe your bad luck is only going to be centered upon Lampwick rolls.
maybe would her survival kit go into first aid at all, or no?
I will allow you to use a first aid kit, as there are first aid kits here, so
Okay.
you can use the same benefit. But since you do have medical supplies and the resources within this small space, you are able to use those in as an advantage to what you're rolling.
Okay, because I have survival kits, but not first aid kits. But if it exists in the space to use a first aid kit, like maybe kitchens have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you grab it. Go ahead and make a roll for me.
Let's give this a go.
Let's give it a
see what
go.
happens.
Yeah, so use this. You can do that with
I didn't
two
set
times.
anything on fire, so I don't have any more competency points. So
It's a
let's-
2-time modifier, so go ahead and use it.
Did something roll?
Nothing rolled yet.
I put it in. Okay.
Try one more time.
All right. First aid. First aid kit. Submit. Modifier of 2. Submit. It's
Just
not
roll it
good.
normally. We can do the math in our
Okay,
heads.
I'll
Yeah,
just-
just roll it
yeah.
normally.
Do you have a
So
training
I also-
value in first aid?
I do not.
Then
I
Then
have
if you put in the
survival
kit, then
kit.
nothing will
Nothing will
roll.
happen.
Oh,
so
okay, got
just
it.
hit it.
That's what happened.
Yeah, hit it normally
Never mind.
because you're
Doing
not
it
trained in first aid.
normal, Doing it so normal. 4 successes.
It doesn't even matter. You don't even need it. But there you go. You've got 4 degrees of success. Immediately, Arya's eyes open, and you have used a little bit of water, and you have altered her airway so that she's breathing clearly, and you've managed to wake her up with some smelling salts.
I would love for it to be like Achira is looking down at Arya and is like cupping her face while she's like like brushing out hair from her face to like cool her down, and then hopefully nobody else sees while she puts one of the medicine that she had came for her like she palms it into her hand,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a deal while she's doing that, and it's just kind of like a sequence of her being like, Are you okay? How are you doing? You checked out there for a second. It seems like there was a lot going on.
Hey.
You feel nothing right now. Your body is tingling, and whatever you're taking is a wild ride. These painkillers, that whole pill that you took, thankfully it wasn't rat poison. I did make you roll for that. However, since you are lucky, you got the real deal, and you feel no pain right now.
What's like the 411, gorgeous?
I think what it is that you should stand up and walk with me a little bit if you're up to it.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to walk anywhere with you.
Here, I've got you. And then like Achira like braces herself to then like use her body as a counterweight to bring Arya back up, steadying her with a hand on her lower back. She glances over at Rowan, who's in the kitchen, and then just starts walking around the space with Arya and chatting with her.
Good. Yeah, you start moving her around. The two of
Yeah.
you start talking.
Be like, so what's Hollywood like? Like back then?
What isn't it like? It is a wild ride, and like everybody wants a piece of you, and like you're told that you're the best of the best, and you get to have free food. Most people have free food.
I just hear there's it's like either handprints or low-end lingerie shops for Hollywood. Am I wrong with that? I haven't actually been.
Oh no, you're totally correct on that. Where are you from?
Georgia. Blue Brunswick, Georgia.
Oh yeah, that's not Hollywood at all.
Not at all.
So far from it. Everything's super pretty and super trashy all at the same time. Is that like Georgia?
Everything's super pretty and super southern, I think would be the best way to say that. The food is incredible and the people are stubborn.
See, I touched down in what city is that? It was a really big
Atlanta?
Achira,
Yes!
Achira, what are you doing? She needs to be
What?
lying down. The doctor's there in your face. She needs to be
Oh.
lying down. Go put her on a cot.
Yeah.
I think she's having an adverse reaction to the medication. Why don't you get her some water right now? We may have to flush her system.
Yeah,
Hey, look at me. Right here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll put her with Lampwick.
Did someone else give her medication?
No. No.
You hear Rowan from the kitchen.
I'll put her next to Lampwick. It'll be fine. And I'll bring her some water. Everything's good.
Don't put her anywhere near Lampwick. Put her in the other room on her own.
I'll do that. I got that, Doc. It's good.
Is
and
it?
as Achira steering Arya, she like glances over at Rowan.
She grabs you, Achira, and pulls you close. I thought we had an understanding. Are you backing down on that now? Do I need to worry about you?
No, there's nothing to worry about. I was just making sure that she was okay.
All right.
She isn't Citadel.
There's a lot to deal with here, and I'm worried, obviously. So please go lay her down. Don't let her hurt herself, and don't, for God's sake, don't let her take anything else. Check her pockets too. Make sure she's not holding.
Yeah.
I should have done that from the start. I fucking know a junkie when I see one. And she turns and walks back towards Juniper's room. Kusanagi, you're sitting on the bed. Juniper is unconscious. And you notice that a Polaroid picture has fallen out of June's clothing when she fell. and it's on the ground there in front of you. What do you do?
I pick it up and I put it back in her pocket. And then I go back to trying to wake her up.
As you pick it up, you see that it's a very young, handsome-looking Asian couple holding a child. And as you put it into her pocket, you see on the back there's some writing. Do you read what it says, or do you put it away?
It's not my business. It's hers. I give it back to her.
You
I put it in her pocket.
Slip it back
I
into
gotta
her
wake her
pocket.
up. I am very focused on waking her up because we are in here with a crazy doctor, and
She doesn't seem to be
I need her
waking up.
conscious.
I can have you make another roll if you would like
Yeah.
to try. Make a survival check.
Can I use first aid instead?
Go ahead and if your first aid is better, make a first aid.
Yeah. Now,
She is not very responsive. She's out like a light. And
all right.
you
I'm
hear
gonna go get the
footsteps.
doctor then.
Yeah, well, the doctor's just appeared in the doorway behind you.
Thank God you're here.
What the hell? Did you
passed
let
out.
it? I told you not to let her
I
go
was
to
talking
sleep.
to her the whole time.
She's
I was talking to her
asleep
the whole
now.
time. I've been trying to wake her up. She's out. She is out.
Fuck. This is the last thing that I need right now. All right, look, there was a desk lamp back there. I need you to make sure that it gets connected to the generator power, and I need you to bring it in here. I need somebody to take Lampwick's cot and take him back out into the main room. We need to make space around this entire cot. I need you to get there are some scalpels, and I also am going to need the hand drill that is back in that cage. We're going to need power for that as well.
Okay. All right.
Get me all those things. I'm
All
going to
right,
see
sure.
what I can do about waking her up.
All right. I say that
Juniper.
when the minute that her attention is turned back to Juniper, I'm going to pull my gun and press it to the base of the doctor's neck.
She stops immediately.
Listen, there is obviously a lot more going on here than you're telling us. And I'm not going to let you start trepanning this child just because she's passed out. She told me about the lab. She told me about what you're keeping in those cages. This does not sound like penicillin, Frankenstein. So we're going to go outside and you're going to have a talk with the rest of my friends.
Do you know what I think, Kusanagi? I think you've watched...
I'm not interested.
I
Are
think
you going to
you've
start
watched
walking or I'm going to
too
blow
many
your brain out?
movies. You've watched far too many movies. You
There's
take me
no
out of this
such
room
thing.
and she dies. Is that what you want?
I don't believe you. Are you going to walk or am I blowing your brains out?
Fine. Have it your way, cowboy. She stands up.
All right, I've got my hand on her shoulder, and my gun is pressed to the base of her neck.
She's got her hands up. She's not making any sudden moves. She walks very confidently out into the main space.
Okay. This doctor has been lying to all of you. There's something in the drugs that she's given to people. Juniper said something about her having a lab underneath the farmstead where there were people in cages. She was talking about wanting to perform some surgery on Juniper. So if any of you have been taking any of these drugs, you need to start inducing vomiting right now, because I don't know if she's doing some sort of weird experiment or how she's connected to it. We need to get her keys and get out of here.
Our friend is mistaken. He's making a very deadly mistake.
Why would I do this? Why would I risk everything over this?
Because you've been through a lot, and this is an unreasonable time. But I will tell you, you are making a mistake. I've done nothing other than try to help the people here. Have you been talking to her? And
Talking to who?
Her head kind of motions over to Rowan. Has she put you up to this?
No, not at all.
Doc, you did this shit on your own. What do the rest of you do? Arya, you are still conscious. You're just high as a kite. Unfortunately, Juniper, you're still unconscious. Achira, what do you do?
Achira's gonna stand up for the doctor at this point, and is going to, well, for a number of reasons, especially since keys are coming up and everything like that. Achira's gonna stand up for the doc and talking to everybody that's there. I think what's going on here is that a lot of us are enclosed underground after having to deal with the matter of Romero's, especially with having watched an inflammatory video cassette that has just interacted everything deep down within all of us. And I think what we really need to do right now, what we need to do here is just eat and breathe and take a nap. Kind of like what my foster mom back when would have said, we need a sandwich and a nap.
All right.
Look,
if you want to
look.
stay here, you can. But anybody who wants to leave should be leaving.
Rowan
If you care-
speaks up. Look, Kusanagi. I like you, kid. You're smart. Maybe a little too smart. This doctor, maybe she's dangerous. I think that you're probably right. She is dangerous. We can't kill her. We've got to keep her alive.
I never said anything about killing her. I just think we should get out of here. And I don't think anybody should eat anything or take anything that she's offering.
Well, how about what I'm offering then? Would you take that? What me and Rowan have cooked?
Why do you trust this woman?
I
What has she done to buy your loyalty?
I trust her because she's able to make medicines that we cannot have right now. There's
What part of kids in cages is making or people in cages is making medicine? Do you think you think Juniper was lying about that?
I don't. I actually think that, and Achira like points at the doctor. I actually think that she more than likely put sick people in cages to then experiment on them. I also know.
And you're cool with that? You are cool with that?
I also know that all of us in here have done things that wouldn't be above board. If you are a person...
Okay, I have never done anything on that level. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But anybody who's not cool with that should be leaving.
Did you just totally say put people in cages?
I did.
Criminals. The doctor still has her hands up.
Describe to me like what you totally think criminals are.
Murderers and rapists.
So, like, by definition, like, all of us here should be in cages because what do you think we're doing when we're shooting at Romero's?
It's different when they're alive.
Is it?
You're high. Something I didn't give you because I have your best interest in mind, along with everybody else here. Kusanagi, are you going to keep a gun at my head?
My best interest.
I am until I can get out of here safely. And anybody else,
like
who
I
thinks
said,
this is a little
kid,
bit
I
fishy
can't
should be
let
coming
you
with
kill
me.
her. I can't let you threaten her as if you are going to kill her, because putting guns at people's heads usually ends up badly for somebody. So, Kusanagi, you want out of here? I'll open the damn door myself for you. But please.
I'll make sure that both of you are civil with each other. If you really want to leave, Kusanagi, I would have liked for us to chat a bit more, but I'll go to the door with the both of you so that nothing.
Nope, it's just me and her. You all need to keep your distance. and I'm gonna back around with moving the doctor. Anybody gets within 6 feet of either of us, and I'm blowing her brains all over this place.
You know, Rowan's right. You're smart, but I'm gonna be real straightforward here, Kusanagi. I can't open that door for you.
Well, somebody's got the keys.
I didn't say I didn't have the keys. But apparently someone else told you that I don't.
It was Lampwick.
Lampwick is half out of his mind right now and is more than
Sure. Ignore all of take everybody around here and find some reason for them to not be credible. Why don't you think that the simplest answer is the answer? You're trying to make excuses for everybody here?
I just think that people need some rest. Can we just have a night of rest? And then in the morning, we just decide what's going to happen.
You think you're going to live to the morning after this woman tries to take revenge on you? Have you seen how she talks about us? She calls us scavengers. She blames us. She blames you for what happened to these people. You fall asleep in this place, you're going to wake up in a cage.
Let's lock her behind a door then. How about we just do that so that we can just sleep for a night? We can just sleep and just decide what's going to happen the next day. Is that something we can do?
Oh, Chira, you're so sweet. I'm gonna give her a big hug to try to calm her down. But I'm also kind of searching her persons to see if she has any drugs on her or anything else.
Okay, if you want to do that, you're going to have to make a little bit of a stealth roll for me while you're messing around her pockets. Meanwhile, I need to know everyone else's intentions because this has escalated. We are very close to completion, just so everyone knows. We have about 10 minutes left. So if all of you are accepting of that time constraint, we will be finished in around 10 minutes. You're certainly able to move through there. A spot listen check from you would be customary, Achira, just to see if you can break 4 successes. If you can beat the 4 successes that Arya has made, then she will not retrieve the pills that you have in your jacket pocket.
Oh no! All right. I don't see this happening, but we shall.
And then Kusanagi, this is very important. You have turned the doctor and are now using her as a bit of a shield to the rest of the group, correct? And you have started to walk closer to the corridor that leads out to the large steel doors, the double doors that lead back out to the unknown tunnel. Because remember, there was a collapse, and it may be very difficult to get through, but you're willing to take that risk and move yourself closer to that.
I am.
All right. So your intention here is to get to the door and have somebody open it, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Rowan has stood at this point. And this is the first time that Rowan has taken her feet off of the coffee table. And you can see in front of her, she has all of these VHS boxes laid out in front of her. And then she looks at you very levelly. Her intention is going to be to convince you to put the gun down. Next to her, though, you see that Philippe has a rifle trained on both you and the doctor. So she's just talking. She's holding her hands up as well. But you can see that she's been moving those VHS boxes around. And before you go, you would like to have those with you. But you've already gotten it in your notebook, so you don't necessarily need it, but...
I have what I came here for.
All right.
I do have a question.
All right.
Since we are in a hostage situation, thing that's happening, would that count as a location hazard?
It does not. It is a situation. The environment itself is not causing you any specific danger.
Got it.
That is my interpretation of it. Other game masters for this system might find different interpretations, but this is mine. So no, I cannot reward you a different competency, but if anyone else has skill sets or abilities that allow them to get involved in this very tense situation, I encourage you to check your character sheet.
Then I guess my intention would be to head towards the doctor in a way that it would be like, oh, I got the keys from her, to a stealthy way to like, hey, give me the keys, to then go and unlock the door for this other individual.
You need to stay 6 feet away from both of us.
Well, I mean, like, is there some...
Why are you coming over here?
Not towards Kusanagi.
You want her to die?
All right.
I don't want to hurt her.
I need you to step away from Kusanagi. That's Rowan. Look, I think I've been clear about this.
I'm trying to go to the doctor.
Why?
Not Kusanagi.
Why? Why would you need to go to the doctor?
I'm going to be a third person here to just unlock the door so that you can.
Well, you don't need to be here. If the doctor has the keys, she can let me out.
Achira, do you not like my hug?
I like your hug a lot. That's not the point of any of this.
Then why are you trying to go to the door?
Look, Achira, do you have the keys? Rowan says very clearly.
No. Chira said.
If you're gonna do that,
well, then you don't need to be there, do you?
You need to make a persuasion, make a persuade roll. Everybody else can sense motive. Do a detect motive. Yeah.
She's so bad at this. I shouldn't even bother.
Enough has happened that Rowan has made the jump and has accused you outright.
I already know what this is going to be. Okay, I got 1 degree of success.
So everyone who beats 1 degree of success on their roll will be able to... Kusanagi has 4 degrees of success. Arya, you are just upset about this hug. That has gone a little sour. You didn't feel like it was really reciprocated. She wasn't paying attention to you. She is very pretty. Yeah, so Kusanagi,
Achira like feels Kusanagi like staring at her, and it's just like...
You just played some 4D chess in your mind, and you know exactly what's going on now.
Mm-hmm. Fine. You want to leave? Fine.
So you have the keys, right? Why would you lie about that? Why would you lie to these people who are supposed to be your friends?
To protect the doctor. Why would you hold a gun to people in the same bunker as you?
This doctor is keeping people in cages. Experimenting on people.
Everybody does something, and it wasn't like they were without fault.
Okay, so you've been very clear about which line you're willing to cross, and it's pretty deep in there.
Is it, though? Is it?
Yes, experimenting on people in cages is a bad line to cross.
You don't understand. I don't understand. We barely get any of this. But we're in it for the species, Kusanagi.
Well, there are other... you can live however you want to live. I'm not trying to stop you, but I'm not going to be a part of this. And anybody else who doesn't want to be a part of this should leave with me. I'll do what I can to keep you safe. I have 20 years of experience out on the roads.
I completely understand wanting to not be locked in a bunker, and there is no need for a gun.
I have no problem with a bunker. I just can't be in a place with people who have been duplicitous and who I do not trust.
Understandable. I decided not to go in a bunker earlier. That was like, a day, 2 days ago?
Are you going to give me the keys or not?
I'm not giving you the keys, but I will open the door to let you out. And Achira's gonna bypass all of them to go around to head towards the front. Oh,
I'm holding on to you, yeah.
Okay, you grab on to Achira. And while you do, Achira, you stumble forward. You're not able to move. Rowan quickly says to you, Kusanagi, trying to meet your eyes. All right, Kusanagi, we had a conversation. There's a safe house outside of the old steel mill, 13 miles west. You'll find some of my people there. You decide you're tired of running around on your own, and you want to throw in with my group. We could use you. I don't want this to color our relationship, but my mission is keeping that doctor safe. We don't want to hurt you.
I understand that, but I'm not going to stay here with somebody who I think is going to put my life in peril.
Look, no harm, no foul. We understand. You do what you got to do, and I wish you the best. I really do hope you make it out of this tunnel. You
Thank
find
you.
my people, you let them know I sent you if you need anything.
And honestly, all of you, I don't have any, grudge against any of you, but
There's a gunshot that rings out inside of the safe house, and the doctor's body drops to the ground. Kusanagi, you feel pain, and blood starts to well up in your abdomen. The bullet has passed through the doctor and into you. You see Juniper standing in the doorway with a gun raised. That Polaroid picture has dropped out of her pocket and hit the ground. And although no one can read it, it says, Juniper Olive Song, born 1999, October 7th. Weight, 1 pound, 1 ounce, 13 inches long. We've traveled through a number of small groups. It's been so hard. But we are blessed this day with a beautiful daughter. The only child born in this madness that we know of. Hopefully other babies are out there being born too. She is perfect in every way, and so quiet and peaceful. Right from the start. She is our greatest hope in this frightening world, and there's a heart drawn on it. And that is where we're going to end our session tonight. Thank you, everyone, once again, for spending this time with us here at Outbreak Undead, Rag and Bone. We hope that you will join us again next week. I want to thank our special guests for all of the amazing roleplay that they've brought to the table tonight. We are blessed by their presence and their talents. We wish you all a happy new year. Please, stay safe out there. We will return. Good night.